Sumerian civilization. Look at the world around you. Our sprawling cities, our structured laws, the ticking of our clocks, and even the fundamental creation stories that shape our beliefs. They can all be traced back to a single, profound beginning. To find it, we must travel back more than 6,000 years to a sun-scorched plain nestled between two untamed rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. But between the 5th and 4th millennia BC, it became the stage for humanity's greatest leap forward. This was the home of a people who called their fertile land Kangir, the land of the noble lords. They spoke a unique language called Umgir and referred to themselves as the Sag-Giga, the black-headed people. For thousands of years, their memory remained entirely buried under the shifting sands, until 19th century scholars finally pieced together their forgotten language and restored their true identity to the world. This is the story of the first true human civilization, its dramatic rise, its brilliant achievements, and its inevitable tragic echoes through time. Unlocking the definitive origin of the Sumerians presents a unique challenge, because the hot, acidic, and humid soil of southern Iraq aggressively destroys ancient DNA. Tracking their exact lineage through genetics remains impossible. Yet, where biology falls silent, a combination of geology, archaeology, and linguistics provides a striking breakthrough. Together, they point toward a highly probable reality. The ancestors of the Sumerians emerged from a land that no longer exists on our maps. 8,000 years ago, the Persian Gulf was not a sea, but a lush, low-lying valley. Through this fertile basin, the Tigris, Euphrates, Karun, and Wadi Batin rivers all merged into a single colossal super river that emptied directly into the Indian Ocean at the Strait of Hormuz. But a global climate shift caused the ocean to violently breach the strait. The waters rushed inward, rapidly swallowing thousands of square miles of this low valley over just a few generations. This terrifying displacement forced the indigenous population to flee their shrinking homeland. The physical footprints of this migration are clearly visible in the archaeological record. Around 7,500 years ago, more than 60 fully formed, advanced Neolithic settlements suddenly appeared overnight along the new northern shorelines of the Gulf and the marshlands of southern Iraq. These people did not slowly evolve from local hunting camps. They arrived already possessing sophisticated boat-making skills, deep-sea fishing knowledge, and complex social structures. Driven northwest up the river systems, these displaced refugees of the submerged Gulf Oasis eventually integrated with local populations. The definitive proof of this cultural convergence is preserved in the very landscape they settled. The oldest names of Sumer's legendary cities, including Eridu, Ur, and Uruk, are completely non-Sumerian. They are linguistic fossils left behind by the original inhabitants who welcomed the coastal refugees, blending together to form the foundational Ubaid culture. This migration story was never truly forgotten. It was passed down across thousands of years as their literature and religion evolved from generation to generation. The Epic of Ziusudra, the oldest version of the Noah flood myth, explicitly tells of a catastrophic deluge that wiped out humanity's original home. What was long dismissed as a grand religious fable is in reality the enduring historical echo of the day the ocean drowned their world. In the mid-5th millennium BC, southern Mesopotamia consisted only of ordinary Neolithic villages rooted in tribal equality. But centuries later, a radical transformation began in a single settlement, Eridu. Here, humanity made a monumental choice, trading simple village life for more complex and more dangerous, the world's first city. This leap was driven by a dark paradox. As farmers mastered the rivers, they generated an agricultural surplus. Rather than sharing this wealth, a rising class of priests exploited tribal fears of nature's volatile forces to seize control. Early rulers, the Ensi, a priestly governor, and Lugal, a powerful king, weaponized this spiritual anxiety, claiming the harvest as mandatory tribute for the gods. Using this wealth, the priesthood launched an extraordinary architectural project, Over 1,000 years, a simple, single-room shrine was buried and rebuilt across 18 successive levels, climbing into a towering monument to Enki, the god of wisdom. Eridu became a sacred magnet, replacing family ties with a strict administrative hierarchy. A permanent workforce of specialized builders and craftsmen settled around the precinct, sustained entirely by temple wealth. The elite had discovered a powerful new reality. They no longer had to work the land because they could live off the sweat of others. Across the plains of Sumer, early experiments in urban living rapidly evolved into a radical new world order. At its center stood the legendary city of Uruk, where towering ziggurats rose into the sky for the supreme god Anu and his fierce granddaughter Inanna. Sumerian society was now completely intoxicated by religion. Further north, the city of Nippur operated on a grand cosmic scale, a holy complex serving as the literal locus of communication between heaven and earth. To manage the swelling populations of these cities, a tiny elite, the temple scientists, weaponized an uncomfortable paradox: genius requires leisure. We traditionally celebrate this era for its incredible breakthroughs, the invention of the wheel, the mastery of metallurgy, the mapping of the stars. But if every single human being had spent 14 hours a day bending over a mud plow just to survive, progress would have stalled forever. The systemic exploitation of the peasant class bought the precious, uninterrupted time necessary for these priests to think, innovate, and master the sciences of the temple. This dark bargain was baked into every achievement. Mass-produced ceramics, simply standardized food rations for conscripted laborers. Even writing began as a cold, bureaucratic tool for the temple scientists to log taxes and debts. By 3300 BC, this model had successfully replicated across the region, birthing 19 independent Sumerian city-states. But a society built on concentrated wealth and inequality naturally breeds conflict, and humanity's thirst for dominance could no longer be contained within city walls. For centuries, internal rivalry turned Sumerian history into a violent game of musical chairs, leaving fractured city-states vulnerable to outsiders. In 2334 BC, Sargon of Akkad swept through the valley, forging the world's first multi-ethnic empire and initiating a deep cultural symbiosis. But empires forged in blood dissolve in blood. Kutian Highlanders from the Zagros shattered Akkad, plunging the region into a dark age before a brief Sumerian renaissance flared in 2050 BC. It was a desperate last breath. By 2004 BC, Elamite invaders destroyed the final native dynasty, paving the way for Amorite migrations and the ultimate dominance of Babylon under Hammurabi. Yet Sumer's true executioner was a silent ecological catastrophe of its own making. To feed their unequal cities, they over-engineered the land. Intensive irrigation without proper drainage caused the underground water table to rise. Under the scorching sun, this water evaporated, leaving a toxic white crust of salt across the topsoil. The canals that birthed their golden age had poisoned the earth. As fields turned barren, starvation drove populations northward, abandoning the cradle of clay to the desert sands. Sumerian political dominance died, but the contradiction was absolute. Their land was ruined and their language forgotten. Yet, the laws, mathematics, and stories they forged to manage humanity became the immortal blueprint for every civilization yet to come.